What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Neighbors Podcast. I'm Mitchell, and I'm joined by my cousin Michael.
Holla, holla, holla.
Dude, I wanted to get you on, but I was like, when is Michael ever going to be in Portland?
Yeah, it worked out perfect, man. I just popped down, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's fun to always have you. I always remember, like, that was the fun part of holidays, was everyone was here, because for those of you guys who don't know, most of my family is, like, either in Seattle or they're in Southern Oregon. And so to get both of them in the same place at one time usually only happened on, like, Christmas, because they would rotate years for Thanksgiving and shit like that. So
is the best.
So it's the best, yeah.
So it's the best.
Yeah. And then I've talked about it a few times on the podcast, living in Amsterdam. Michael was the person who I lived with.
Yes.
That was fun.
We had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Well, that was like 5 years ago.
God, it's insane to think about it. It seems like it was just not that long ago.
Right?
Yeah.
2014.
5 years ago.
5 years.
You were the first one. You were there right when I moved.
Yeah, you went like
a little bit of a debacle, if I remember.
It wouldn't be with you. If
Wouldn't
it
be.
wasn't a debacle.
That's what I say. Yeah, exactly. No other way. There's only one way. It's the debacle way.
Yeah.
That's the Michael way.
Yeah. You flew down. I came up and stayed with you in Seattle because you had a place like.
Yeah, I did.
Like right by Amazon or something.
Yeah. I had a little condo thing downtown.
Yeah, which was a cool place.
Yeah, it was great.
That was a cool spot. Like the apartment was cool, and then that's when I met
Megan.
Well, I met Megan, but someone was renting your place who was like really cool. Darmesh.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that Indian guy.
Yeah,
he's great. I've kept in touch with him. I mean,
I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
But like I remember because the guy was renting it out from like Airbnb.
Yes.
And we got there, and he was there, and then he just hung out with us.
Yeah, we were just kind of like, hey, you want to come along? And he just sort of came.
Yeah, he just came and hung out. We just kind
of bebopped around Seattle and had some drinks. It was great.
Did he come with us to the mini soapbox derby race at that bar we went to? Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a goldfish races, wasn't it?
No, because it was Red Bull was doing their promotion, and we made those little cars.
Oh yeah,
and we had pre-printed out Paul Walker's face.
Oh yeah. I forgot. That's right. Yeah. That was terrible. Yeah.
And then we changed up last minute, and we put batteries on it. We called it the Vince D cell.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because we had D batteries. Because we thought it might be a little
too soon for the Paul Walker thing. I think it was right after he burned to death in a Porsche, right? So probably not the best timing.
Yeah. And we won the contest, and the winnings was like getting a gift card for the bar we were at, and then we just ended up paying for all of the drinks that we had, or like a big.
That was the rule, man. They used to have that. They had Woodski's was the name of the bar.
Yeah, Woodski's. That was the first time I did a shot ski.
Yeah, that's right. It was started by a buddy of mine, Greg Woodman, and they used to have that, and they had those goldfish races. They'd have these gutters that had little pens in them, and everyone would pick a goldfish. You'd put it in a cup, and the prize money was like a couple $100.
Yeah.
And then you would spray a spray bottle behind them and race them down the thing once they pulled the pens out of the gutters. It was fucking hilarious.
Wait, live goldfish?
Yeah, live goldfish.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, totally.
PETA doesn't like that now.
I'm sure they don't, but people were in there, man. I mean, it was like a thing to do. They do it on like a Wednesday and like a Thursday night or something.
Yeah, to like bring people in on slow nights.
Totally. Yeah, and it turned them into just heater banger nights, man. It was great. There was 100 people in there. It was like people were betting them on like it was like a cockfight or something, People betting on side bets. It was wild.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah.
And then you flew to Amsterdam like a week before I got there.
Yeah, I think so.
And we'd stayed in so many Airbnbs when we were there. I think I had the Wi-Fi code like all around the city.
The city. Yeah. No kidding.
All around. What was your favorite one?
Probably that one we stayed at out at Amstelveen.
No, the worst one.
I'm joking.
One. Yeah, that was like company house.
We stayed at one that was in Frederikssplein. That was the nicest one we stayed in, that had the access to the roof where you'd done that video.
That's where I blew out my Xbox. Remember we blew the power out?
Yeah, that's right.
I brought my Xbox, because I was there for 90 days. And you had to get you couldn't just use a regular converter. You had to use like a converter with.
It's 250 versus full 450, so the voltage, isn't regulated, and it blew the circuit.
Yeah, and it blew the power supply on my Xbox. When I got home, it didn't work.
It sucks, man.
Yeah,
sorry to hear that.
It was like we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All the power went out. Nothing was working.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I remember.
Yeah. That was the nicest one though, and we didn't stay there for too long. We were only there for like a week, I think, and then we were at the one closer to that park. Remember I think it was Rembrandt Park, maybe.
Yeah.
Where it had like the
I remember.
gym.
Yeah, I remember.
Like,
yeah. And we had that little bar that was 2 blocks down the street or whatever that we should just get housed at.
Yeah, I remember when we first got there, we showed up the day after King's Day, Megan and I did.
Oh, yeah.
We went out. We didn't get there until like 11 after traveling for however long we traveled for.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. Rough.
Gatwick bus. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That was maybe the worst flight I've ever had.
I've had some terrible flight experiences.
Yeah.
I'm
sure you fly all the time.
Yeah, but I've had I still think I hold the world's worst story. So it was when I had my company and we were opening. I'm going to do the 2-minute condensed version of this because this is a fucking story.
Yeah.
But so we were flying down to South Africa and I had a short notice. I had to be there, and there's a direct flight that was out of Amsterdam that would go there, and it was like on a 3 days a week. There would be a direct to Cape Town from Schiphol. However, we had to get down there, and so we got a really last minute ticket, and we got this fucking magic carpet ticket that was Schiphol to Nairobi, Kenya to Livingston, Zimbabwe, and we didn't get off. It was like a stop off in Zim, and then we flew to Cape Town. And so I'd just been on this long ass
Cape Town,
trip.
South Africa?
Yeah, South Africa. Furthest tip down, right? Furthest southern point. And Cape Town is like the furthest southern point.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we go down there, and I had gone on this trip before, and I had filled my passport up.
Yeah.
So, like, in case you're wondering what happens when you fill your passport up, this is the fucking answer to your question, right? And so we go there, we fly, we get out in Kenya. I don't go in anywhere because we're just transferring through. So after like, I don't know, fucking 20 hours of flying or whatever with the layovers, we get into Cape Town. And I come in to check in through the border, and the guy's like, no, bro, you're not getting in. There's no way you can, you can't get in. You don't have enough pages. So they decide, Mitchell, to deport me to the port of my last departure, which I didn't get off in Zimbabwe, but is Nairobi, Kenya. So I got deported out of South Africa to Nairobi, Kenya. I got set back on the thing, and the end of the story is crazy. I'm actually incriminating myself because I committed a crime, but I got stuck when I landed in Nairobi. Daniel, my buddy, was with me, and he was trying to call the embassy and everything to try to get something sorted out. And they can't come rescue you. The U.S. Embassy cannot come get you at the airport or do anything for you. Maybe unless you're like a celebrity or something. But so anyways, I'm stuck there. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And there were no flights back to the Netherlands for 2 days out of Nairobi. Literally not one thing booked, business class first, nothing. So I'm stuck in the airport in Terminal 2 in Kenya. And there's like no fucking food or anything. So I finally find this Crown Lounge that I could go into that had free wine, tea, and bread. And I went in there and I was trying to figure out what to do, So, and I had a really public denial because when I went to Kenya, they were like, screw you, you can't get in. You have to have a full blank page. Because if you look at the Kenyan visa, it's a full page visa. So I come up with this idea, and the idea is this. I had a bunch of these full-page sticker visas like you get when you go to India and China. Yeah. And my Indian one was the easiest one to peel off. So I ended up scraping it with my fingernail. No shit. This is a true story. 2.5 hours I scraped this thing off. I then used the hot water out of the tea kettle because it had glue on the back. I write on the top of the passport, please save blank for a future visa. I stick my medical card in it. And I was like, shit, I don't want to get arrested, because I had a really public denial when I came in. And I didn't want to end up in jail in Nairobi airport. So I come on, I'm in this whole sweatpants suit. I've been in this outfit now at this point for like 40 hours. Yeah. And I freaking saunter up to the thing. The only other piece of clothing I have is a blazer. So I'm wearing sweatpants, a t-shirt. I throw in a fucking blazer. I down 2 glasses of wine. I head to the front. I hand the woman, free wine. I hand the woman the thing, and sure enough, I get in. So I snuck into Africa, and I've got the wild picture too to prove it. I went to the embassy and ended up getting out, but man, it was nuts.
So when you went to the embassy, did they give you like more pages? Like,
they gave me a temporary. I have to show it to you. It looks like one of those like faces of meth on a newspaper, like we used to have. Like if you look at my passport because I've gone through 3 now, my passport from 6 years ago to then they gave me a temporary one that had 2 pages in it, and I had to get my picture taken in a Nairobi picture booth that was next to the embassy, and I literally look like Dracula. You know, I have no clothes. I'm in this sweatpants suit. I'm just filthy.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's horrible.
So when you get back to Amsterdam, that's terrible. That is terrible.
Terrible.
I feel bad for complaining for having to wait 8 hours in Gatwick Airport, but I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, but so when you get back to Amsterdam, I assume you go back to the embassy there, and like, how do you get a new passport when you're not in?
I didn't need to at this point because I had a temporary passport that was good for a year, and it had 2 pages in it. And I flew back through. I was going to my buddy Carson's wedding, so we flew back through Dubai. 2 years ago now, I think.
Where? In Seattle?
Oh no, Orcus.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think when we were leaving, like he had just got engaged or was going to.
No, you're right. It was longer ago than I think. I think it was 4 years ago that happened.
Yeah. Because that's
it has to be at least 2 years ago.
Because that was who we went to the bar with. That was who it was. It was Carson. And then we went to Dick's. I think we got burgers.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
I'm getting Alzheimer's in my older age. You're right. It was 4 years. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to remember, I think.
Yeah. It is hard to remember. As we're sitting here drinking boxed wine, I'm like, I don't know. This might have any kind of correlation to this.
Sangria,
lifestyle choices.
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
But yeah, I don't know. I think when everything kind of meshes together, even like when I talk about Amsterdam, it does feel like yesterday. Definitely. It doesn't feel like 5 years ago, but it was.
It's the way that it happens, man. The older you get, the faster time starts to go forward. I swear to God. It's
weird. Like this year's it's almost over. Mm-hmm. We're almost in October.
Yeah.
And we're done with the year, and it'll be 2020, and
boom, 2020, man.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember the 2000s.
Best times.
Yeah,
I always say like movies and TV, I think was like, or at least TV was best in that era.
Definitely.
Because it was, I don't know, it had like some substance to it. All that now is garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some great movies that came out during that time. But yeah, it's just a good time to be around.
Do you remember what was that square that we went to that was really nice and had all the clubs? And we went to that, I think it was called the Crown Restaurant, I think was there or something like that. Yeah, we went there, and then we went to a club that was right there. And remember,
it was Croon. Yeah,
it was just us.
Or do you mean Aqua, the one next? So the clubs, so Liza Plein, and that was actually Rembrandtplein. So there's 2 major party squares, Liza Plein and Rembrandtplein.
That's the one
where the tourists go. Yeah. And Rembrandtplein, we went to that club, Ura, I think it's called, and it's just it's a shit show. It's a mess.
You remember though we stumbled into a sorority party.
Yeah.
And then we went back with 2 of the girls, and that took us to a different party that we had to pay like a 10 or 15 euro cover charge.
I think we were broke too. I remember.
We were broke. We got the taxi, and we're like, just take us as far as €2 can get us.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Like, how far does this get? He drove a block, and he was like, get out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
YOLO.
Yeah. I remember one time too, you came home and it was like Sunday, and you're like, it was like Sunday morning, like 6. You're like, let's go get drunk. And then we went.
I remember drunk. It was off of a bad breakup, I believe I had.
Oh, was it? And then we went and got massages and shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was nuts, man. Did you ever keep up? Remember we watched soccer because the World Cup was on? Did you ever,
I never kept up like I did when we were there. We were there when it was World Cup, so exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
But no, I haven't kept up with it enough. I've seen, funny enough, I went to a bunch of games out there, which is pretty fucking live. There and then in London, I've seen Manchester United play twice, and I've been to Ajax a few times. So yeah, it's cool. I mean, I've done a few of the live things, but it was cool.
Yeah. I'll tell this story, and then you can tell it from your perspective.
Sure, please.
So I'm back at the flat, and I was sitting on this IKEA couch that was my bed, this pink fucking couch that was pulled. You could hide all the shit.
It was a transformer.
Yeah. You could hide all of your stuff underneath it, and then it would pull out into a bed. And I'm sitting there Skyping with a friend because the time change, I think was like 8. I think it's like 8 or 9 hours. So it's ridiculous. So to try and talk with anybody back home was always kind of hard. And I was talking with a friend, and all of a sudden, all these people just start coming inside. And it's a bunch of these Swedish guys that are on a bachelor party, like doing a bachelor party in Amsterdam, which obviously, you know, it probably costs them each like $20 to fly there.
Not much. Yeah, for sure.
And they get there. I'm like, who the because they all came in first.
Yeah.
And like Megan, which was Michael's assistant at the time,
yeah,
who got married to a guy that she met there, right?
Yes. Yeah, Joey, the same guy that she was dating.
Yeah, dating at some crazy, mind blowing. But then, so all these guys come in, and like one dude just hops on the couch and like puts his arm around me, starts talking to me while I'm like Skyping with a friend. And it's my buddy James. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then finally they come in and Michael kind of explains how and why they're there.
Probably not very coherently, by the way.
Yeah. It was they're at a bachelor party. We're stopping here, and then we're gonna go out. It's like, okay. Well, then all of a sudden, the bachelor's like sitting down in a chair in the living room, and one of his friends just starts like stripping and giving him a lap dance, and then they start like making out. Do you remember this shit? We're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I was a little confused.
Yeah, we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I remember this is the real thing that I remember was you like looked at me and you knew that I was like super uncomfortable. So you're like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And then you looked at me like, you want to come? And I was like, nope.
No, bro. No, I'm good.
I was like, I'm good.
So the beautiful thing about Amsterdam, and this in just this context too, and then in many others, is like people are there to have a good time.
Yeah, they really are.
So that part of it is super fun. You'll go out, you'll meet somebody wherever you go, and I felt that the whole time that I was there.
Yeah.
To this story point, I had gone out and I did a morning meeting with my assistant Megan every morning, and so we'd gone out to this bar, and I was out there. Megan and I had a beer or something. We were catching up over stuff, and there was. You've probably seen them in your city where you've been, but it's the beer bicycle, right?
Portland definitely has
Portland definitely's got to have them. They put one in Wallingford and Seattle. But then, back then, 5 years ago, it wasn't actually that common. I don't think I'd seen another one, maybe one or two.
And here, the ones we have, just you pedal to another bar. You don't drink while you're on it.
Yeah. This one has the whole thing built into it. So keg, taps, you are drinking, you are biking, and they have, it's called Boris Beer Bike, I think is what it was called. And then they have, some fucking 22-year-old stoner guy who's just making sure you don't just murder yourself, wherever you're driving. So, who's on the front of it. So anyways, I was down there and the beer bike was going through, and I saw him and the guys were like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was skateboarding, and so they started cheering me. They were like, "Get on the bike, get on the bike." So Megan was right behind me, so I skateboarded on and then caught up to it quickly because they weren't stopping, and I jumped onto it as it was going. Well, Megan was in heels, so I left her behind. She was trying to chase after it, and then I was like, whoops. And so I just disappeared out with these guys. Anyways, that you were right. There were a bunch of Swedes that were on a bachelor party, or they call it like a stag do over there in Europe. And it was a little strange. I think it got a little homoerotic when we went back to the house, which I was weird. Like, all right, maybe this is not a good place here. But, and then I ended up going out with them that evening. But, yeah, I mean, they were fun enough or whatever. But, yeah, it was it was just like this weird thing because you were, like, explaining it to me. The random stuff that happened, though, like these kind of things where someone would just show up, that was very the way the house was, and kind of how we were living. Yeah, it was just the timing of it was the craziest part. And how welcome they made themselves in like 0.1 second. Like literally the dude walked in, saw me, and it was the same dude who got unclothed and started giving us a lap. To be fair, so they were absolutely Weekend at Bernie's white girl wasted by the time they got there. So I think their comfort level came from the fact that they were so intoxicated. They probably don't even remember. Yeah, I'm totally. Yeah. So. Yeah, but he like sat down and was like super like flirting with me. Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening? It's like I have no idea what's happening. And then he started getting naked and making out with the dude who was supposed to be getting married. And I was like, oh, all right. It's really brave of you to come forward with this story. Yeah. Yeah. It was super brave. Super brave. Well, we did so many fun things there, like when we were there. We got the first like week, we got one of those electric boats and went on the
the
Sloop
canal.
Dolan is the name of the thing, and they're just amazing.
Yeah, it was
they're
fun.
like so great.
Yeah, we did a little one, but almost, I mean, throughout the whole time, like we were right on the canal. So when, like, no matter what time it was, it'd be 4 a.m. and you just hear the fucking a party
Totally.
thing just boom, boom, boom.
That's the way it is. So for those of you who don't know, Amsterdam it's just set up on canals. It's almost it's like Venice but cooler and not quite as dirty. Although I wouldn't want to swim in the water either. But
people did. That was so
it's
gross.
It's gross.
I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Like trash in there and shit.
Totally, it's Narnia. I would not swim in that water. But yeah, that's what's cool about it is it's totally a boat city. So like, we'd always have friends that would have boats, and to the point what Mitch is saying too is like it's amazing. For $80 you can go pile 10 people onto a boat.
Yeah,
bring on wine, a boombox or whatever you need, and then boom, you're off. You know, it's awesome, and you could do that. You know, the weather's pretty temperate, but during summer, people are out in the water 24/7.
Yeah, I always felt like there was no rules in Amsterdam.
But it kind of all works, even without having the rules.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely have. I remember, like, one of the first weeks we were walking to one of the main, like, parks where they had, like, live entertainment and this place. And I don't know if you remember, but we were walking into the park, like, through one of, like, where now, like, all the hedges and trees and stuff, and this dude just slinks out of the bushes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Something
like, sketchy was going on in there.
And I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, marijuana's legal.
Yeah.
Shrooms, legal.
Whatever you're doing in the bushes
like,
is
what
not
are you doing?
good. You're going to play... I mean, cops don't even arrest you for cocaine or hard drugs, so whatever you're doing in the bushes is not a good look.
Yeah. And it's like, what's happening here? And, but that was another thing I noticed, and I talked about it before, is how much people my age... That was the hardest thing for me, was like people my age to make friends with, because all they did was smoke. Totally. And I didn't smoke at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you would walk past a place and it'd be 9 a.m. People would be in there. Totally. You walk by noon, same people.
A lot of it is, too, what I will say after living there now, too. And because you were there in the first wave, like boots on ground.
Yes.
First 90 days I was there.
Yeah, helped you.
I mean, helped move into the new house, everything. So, like, I think we were just getting our bearings set up.
Which I'm happy that was what it was, though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really cool because we got to do I mean, to be fair, I've lived in that city for like 5 years then, and totally knew it like the back of my hand. And you were with me the first
to like learn it.
3 months of that. It was awesome. It was
how long did it take you to get used to, like, because you would be on a street that was going like, I guess, I don't know, vertically. And as soon as you cross over to another side, it was a different name.
Yeah,
it was so weird.
It takes it's actually they're named out on the canals, so it's it can be confusing. But once you get the grid, and it's confusing too because the city's all zoned historic, so it looks very similar.
Yeah,
it's easy to fucking get lost in that city. You know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on a night out or something, and you're like, you know, and your American GSM doesn't work, and you're like,
my shit didn't. I was taking screenshots of like, I was taking screenshots of like MapQuest.
Pull out the map with the sea monster on it. Grab your compass. I'm going to the bar.
That's exactly how it was. But it was like, I just want to go shoot hoops somewhere. And then when we finally got to our place, we had a park that was right across.
Yeah,
totally. So it was easy.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, that place across the street even was the first. That was the original Dutch East Indies Trade Company.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah,
that building was it. Yeah,
1600
or whenever.
I loved our place. Our place was so nice.
Amazing. I miss that house.
Yeah,
I love that house. Favorite house I've ever lived in.
Yeah, it was a cool spot. I think what's crazy too is all groceries are like bought in bags, and you have to carry it all home. Like, you don't drive.
So different. You don't drive there. It's not everyone bikes.
And all the fridges are super small, so really you buy for like 3 days. That's it.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was, and what I like about Amsterdam too is it's boutique. Like, you got a meat guy, you go to the butcher guy, you have a wine person, you have a cheese person, you have, whatever else you get. I mean, it's you go to the farmer's market on Saturday, which is right in the square block away from the house. It's
you got some stuff that was heavy as shit.
Yeah, totally, it's true.
You got, I remember
stuff we bought. Yeah,
you got a like solid wood elephant that wasn't that big, but it was super heavy.
I think the worst thing was that marble pedestal.
That marble pedestal was
I bought an
heavy
Italian
as
marble
fuck.
pedestal that was 300 pounds or something. I mean, it was horrible.
Oh, it was probably more than that. And it wasn't that big. It was big, but it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And it was yeah, we had to like.
I still have all of it, man.
Oh, do you? Is it in Puerto Rico?
It's all in Puerto Rico, dude.
Yeah, how was the aesthetic going from Amsterdam to Puerto Rico in terms of your furniture and stuff?
It's funny, the house that I
fit?
got there is an old colonial. So Puerto Rico, the old city, is 400 years old. It's the oldest American city. So the house that I'm in is an old colonial, so it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And it's cool, too, because it's like a bunch of European furniture in a place that doesn't have much European furniture. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. Are you renting that place out?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm renting it out now while I'm here. So, although it hasn't been particularly the world's greatest venture so far, because we had the government uprising with the governor getting overthrown, and then we had the potential of Hurricane Dorian. So I'm hoping that things really clear up in the next couple of months. Yeah. Like, and this is low season. Hurricane season is low season. Yeah. From October on, it's not hurricane season. It's amazing. You go there, the place is incredible. It's
my cruise docked out of Puerto Rico, so like I saw some of it for like an hour and a half.
I wasn't there when you went.
Not on a cruise.
No. Okay.
No. Yeah, you weren't there.
No.
That would have been fun though.
Oh yeah, man, I still have it. We should go do a family trip out there. It's an incredible spot.
Yeah, I would go for sure. Yeah, I just think like a lot of the stories and things that we did were super fun. Plus, I was 21, so it was like just experiencing like life.
Yeah,
life outside of like the normal of like being in college or doing that normal shit.
The one story on stories that comes to mind.
Yeah,
you remember Alethea, right?
Yeah.
And
we went to a Flamingo pizza place with her.
Yes,
the first time we talked to her.
That's her. So her friend, she had a friend, Anna Schmidt.
Yeah, I'm still friends with her. I'm still friends with Alethea on Facebook too.
Oh, cool.
I see all of her like skydiving.
Yeah. She's crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she introduced me to a friend of hers, Anna Schmidt, and so I had this funny, horrible mix-up story. But so Anna owned a yoga studio.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not in my best shape, but I am living my best life. But the girls had convinced me to come to the yoga studio. And so they were bugging me and just saying, hey, there's beautiful women, single at the time. There's beautiful women there. It's a good exercise. Dude, you got to go. So after like 2 days of them talking me into it, I say, okay, I'm going to go.
Well, and to give it some, a little bit more context too, American people over there are like accents. That's what they kind of dig that.
Totally.
We're like here, like you hear a British accent or Australian, people love that. Girls love that.
Definitely.
But when you're over there, it's American. Like, oh shit, he's American. So it's kind of the reverse.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely always helpful, especially in a lot of places you travel. But yeah, also true in Europe as well. So anyhow, so I was like, all right, this is my moment. This is my spot. So I get one of these Facebook invites.
This is my moment.
Yeah, this is my big moment. So I get this Facebook invite from her yoga studio. And I didn't read Dutch well at the time that I got it. And so I just kind of glanced at it. It was in Dutch.
You read Dutch now?
Yeah, I can read it now. Yeah. Not amazingly fluently, but I could read it and tell you what it says.
Yeah.
I dated Dutch girls for a couple years.
Yeah, teach me this.
Yeah. So anyways, so I get this Facebook invite. It's got a picture of a little girl with a lotus leaf on it. It's got a bunch of text in Dutch. I don't look at it. But I say, yes, I'm going on the thing because I assume it's her inviting me to this, yoga studio.
Hot yoga.
So I say, yes, I'm going. And I write on the wall, on the Facebook wall, I write, can't wait, !
Oh, no.
So.
It's
24 hours goes by. And this event is on a Saturday. I accepted it on a Thursday. So Friday, she calls me and she says, oh, my God, I've done a huge mistake. And I say, well, what do you mean? She goes to me, she says, the event that you have accepted is a class for girls ages 11 to 13 to explore their changing bodies. And I have bombed the whole class. There is only one person going, 2,000 people invited, and it's me. And on the wall I've written and said, can't wait, ! I was like, oh my, I thought it was going to be on a sex offender list. I was horrified. I'm about to close my Facebook account. But yeah, disaster. So needless to say, I didn't end up going to the class and it never ended up happening. But it was, what a disaster.
That's so funny.
Yeah, God, horrible.
Could you imagine if she didn't catch it and you just showed up?
Oh, just with a bunch of children. It's just,
man.
Uncle Creep. Yeah. No thanks.
Dude, that would only happen to you.
Yeah.
I feel
have
like.
bad luck for random chaos. Always.
Yeah, Murphy gets you.
Murphy's Law. Yeah, but there's always usually a good story attached to it. I have no shortage of adventures. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do have a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
I remember Tanya just either I just saw on on Instagram that
She just added me.
you guys had like followed one another or whatever. And like the second picture is like a hiking picture, but it's with two girls.
Uh-huh.
And she like looked at it and she's like, "What is Michael's life?" Because these girls aren't just like in hiking stuff; they're in like lingerie and shit.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't know. Like,
I've had a wonderful life.
yeah, I don't know.
You know, I'll tell you, for work and business and everything, I've always, and for better for worse, at the moment it feels like worse.
Worse, yeah.
But I've always lived like a riverboat gambler. So, you know, I've had the moments where it was, you know, girls, Ferraris, caviar, and, you know, champagne. And then I've had the moment where I've been behind the riverboat naked, swimming as fast as I can, trying to catch back up to try to get back on it. So, kind of feeling naked and swimming behind it at the moment. But, yeah, man, it certainly has led to great stories and huge adventures. And I've gotten to do a lot of things that I feel really I've been lucky to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, you always like the stories that come to mind too are like when you got when that guy T-boned you or whatever when you were wearing the Clifford the Big Red Dog costume. Were you wearing Clifford? Or was
I
your
was
friend?
dressed as Clifford, and my friend was dressed as Batman. Yeah.
And it wasn't like Halloween, was it?
It was a few days before Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like I don't know why. I thought it was like July.
At any time, it's weird when you're in a costume and in a major car accident. Yeah.
I was here though.
Yeah. It was here. It was right up at the gas station up above.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember too when we first moved to Amsterdam. Like the first or second day, I got a call from your mom because I was letting Uncle Jeff and Annie Carol drive my Mini Cooper at the time because that was the one big thing for me of going like, oh, I can buy the plane ticket, but I have a car payment, and if I'm not getting paid, I can't pay it. And they're like, oh, well, we'll drive it, and we'll just pay it.
Yeah.
Great. And in like 2 days, someone was stopped at like a red light and like reversed into them.
Yeah. And they had a major car accident.
Yeah. And then I had to call, I can't remember, I think I had like State Farm and be like, yeah, they can do whatever. Just talk to them.
Authorize them.
Yeah, like I'm 9 hours ahead.
Yeah.
There's no way this is going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Terrible thing.
Absolutely.
Rough 3 days. I remember too, if I would do it differently, I had one suitcase that was full of shoes.
You brought a whole suitcase of shoes.
Yeah, it was like a small thing. And I'm like running through all these airports with 3 suitcases. It's like, why didn't I just bring 2 pairs?
It's tough when you're not doing the direct and then you're traveling heavy. Well, you were there for a long time. You know, like 90. Yeah. It wasn't like you were there for a week. 90 days is a long time. You want to bring.
I just felt like, like, it's not like I'm camping. I could have bought shoes.
I mean, he was kind of. You came packed like a Bedouin princess. You know, I mean,
I did, like, yeah.
La, 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 la,
and then I slept on my pink couch in the living room.
Yes, he had spinal bifida after about 3 weeks.
No, the worst part about that bed was there's no air conditioning, and it would get hot because Amsterdam's kind of muggy in the summer. But if you open the windows, there's mosquitoes. No fucking screens, and it's just mosquitoes. And because I was in the living room, we couldn't necessarily like justify mosquito netting in the middle of the room.
Yeah, we used to come out there, and he was in like this sort of homeless caterpillar chrysalis every morning. You would put shit over your head because you didn't want to get bit, right?
Yeah, it's just every 10 seconds I felt like something was biting me or on me or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah. You and Megan got the mosquito netting that screwed into the wall, the ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling.
And then, like, draped over you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that luxury.
No. We got fans and stuff later in life.
Which makes sense.
You were there on the setup. But yeah, absolutely.
I did the most touristy things when a couple of the friends from, or you knew like the brother of one of of a girl who was traveling there who went to like Southridge High School. You remember that?
Southridge.
Yeah, like you're.
Oh,
and, like,
Olivia Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, she's still out here. I think she got married or something, right? I mean,
I have no idea.
she-
I think I'm friends with her on Facebook too,
Yeah.
but I don't see her like much of her stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like how random. What was it that you knew somebody that like I didn't go to school with her, but I basically went to school with her. I mean, she was right
we grew
here.
up in different states.
States too, yeah. And like you were on Vashon, which had its own like.
But
micro
this is
community.
like a universal thing, I'll tell you, from being a guy who's traveled a ton, you know? And not trying to toot my horn like, oh, I'm so worldly. But just, there is amazing. You find people with just a degree of separation. I cannot tell you how many times I've sat next to somebody on an airplane or had some random experience and we knew the same person or some random stuff or grew up or they knew the town I grew up, you know, whatever it was. It's just like, that is the amazing thing. For as big as the world is and it's big, it's small, man. I mean, there's like,
yeah. Where's your most favorite place you've traveled to? You went to, I remember like right after I left, I was so jealous. You went and like rented a castle in like Ireland or somewhere
I was
and had
in
like
Portugal.
a huge party.
I had a big party I threw. We rented Castle Algarve. I'm trying to think of wildest, you know,
well, just like places that you would like.
So I'm a huge advocate of sailing, and I'll tell you, like in Europe, Greece especially, Croatia, there you can rent the boats and they're cheap. So for an example, we'd go out there with friends, we'd rent a sailboat for 2 weeks. We used to rent the same captain in Greece, this guy named Thanasi, who would just tolerate our debauchery and made sure we didn't die. He was this old like Greek guy who was like, you know, son of Poseidon. So anyways, we would rent this guy every year and, you know, we were just in a mess and we would sail around. But sailing the Greek islands is incredible. If I could give anybody something to do, and I've, you know, sailed all over the world, I would say that the Greek islands is just beautiful and an incredible way to do it. We've, you know, I mean, we've also sailed through Ibiza, but Greece probably would be my suggestion of like epic trip. And again, we would rent a boat. There would be 12 of us.
So it was like a yacht.
But again, so back to this point, it was like a 60-foot sailboat.
Yeah.
But there'd be 12 of us with this captain. You want to know what we pay a person? It was like $300 a person for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's bananas cheap. And this is the thing that's cool, I think, just in general, you can do. You can sort of crowdsource. I mean, that castle I'd done because I got it myself, it was expensive, but I've gone to, you know, a friend rented a castle in Italy for a birthday in Tuscany.
Yeah. That
we went out to where it was like a couple $100 a person.
Yeah.
And
if you get enough people.
If you're organized, you can do anything. It's incredible. You can do some really fun trips. For sure.
Yeah, that's what I've always noticed about like my friend group specifically is we always talk about doing trips, but then actually doing them is the hardest part. Like right now we're trying to do a trip for Tanya's 21st birthday.
Dope.
And it's like so hard to get people.
Puerto Rico.
That would be fun.
Free house, dude.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we were looking
Dope
at
house.
Hawaii, but Puerto Rico might be the one then.
Totally.
Yeah.
Dude, a heartbeat. I know everything out there too. I got the homies and
yeah,
that's definitely the move.
That would be it.
That's
I'll have to tell her. But yeah, so it's like trying to get people on board and like, this is how much it's going to cost. Are you guys good? And like, you don't want to buy all your shit and then have everyone bail on you. Because it's like one thing if you get like a campsite at Fort Stevens or something and people bail on you. But it's another thing if you expected 10 people to help you with this Airbnb in Hawaii and everyone bails.
Mm-hmm.
Rough.
Totally rough. Yeah, we should definitely do Puerto Rico.
I've always wanted to do Greece because they have that yacht week.
So that was what initially interested us in going out there. And we have gone the same time that Yacht Week has been there before.
Was it fun, or it kind of seems like it could get terrible? Like there's just too many people.
It's
so you
like,
don't really get to
I mean, I don't
it.
know. How long do you want to spend in Las Vegas? You know what I mean? I mean, it's cool. It's like
if it's you, not
it's
very
like
long.
yeah. Funny enough story. Last time I went to Vegas, 6 guys. One person flew home before, and another person ended up in the hospital. So not the best move. But anyways, it was. It's, you know, I mean, how long can your liver hold out? How long do you want to be just drunk out of your mind for. I mean, it's fun. It's like a rad adult summer camp.
Yeah.
But
sharks.
I haven't seen sharks in Greece. I've seen dolphins a lot, which are amazing. They'll play with the boats.
Yeah, in Hawaii they did for me when I was there.
Yeah.
Wild ones. It's crazy. They were doing backflips for us. We're just gonna perform.
Yeah. They're so
and
cool.
You're like, what the
They're
fuck?
like so smart, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just great. We would school. We would fish for tuna. We'd catch a giant tuna, and then we'd cook it up for dinner. And God, it's killer.
Yeah,
it's a good way to live. And the islands are where it's at. The islands are just off
Where
chain.
did you like Santorini?
So we would go as far south as Santorini or Crete, but there's so many little islands to hit. There's like Eos is their version of Ibiza. It's party island. There's like 60 clubs on one island. It's nuts.
It's like almost 4.
Yeah. I had during this time, so on my mom or my dad's side, I have the Grammy and Boompa or whatever, Matt and Sherry. They're my dad's parents. So she had bought me this like travel journal that was called. It said Book of Ideas on the front of it.
Oh yeah.
And so she got me this travel journal. So while I was on this trip to Greece again sailing, and I remember we had just gotten completely wasted. We were in this teeny island called Quintos. And I just got totally wasted. I got so wasted I couldn't even make it back to the boat. I had fallen asleep on the beach in a lawn chair. And I wake up in the morning because I'd just gone into the town to like go, and it turned into this wild night at the bar. And our friend was behind there showing her tits and pouring shots. And, And so
get bread.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go get some bread. And so anyways, I come back and I wake up in the morning and I am so vilely ill, and I wake up and I had the journal with me. Somehow I'd still take it to the lawn chair with me that I passed out on. So I'm walking through the middle of this town. It's this beautiful little town. Everyone's eating a nice breakfast. I'm so ill. I've got this book that's tucked up under my arm, and everyone's on the boat and they see me coming, and I get sick. So I'm walking. I didn't stop. I'm walking and projectile vomiting into these bushes where like 2 feet away all these people are eating. I was a horrible shithead. I was probably 26 at this point. And I'm just vomiting into the things, and I get back on the boat, and Brandon takes the Book of Ideas out from underneath my arm, and he opens it, and there's blank pages. I haven't written it at all. He's like, there's some really great ideas in here, I bet, buddy.
I have a journal in my bag right now that says thoughts.
Yeah. Does it have anything in it?
It's not
blank.
Okay,
that's good.
There are some things in it.
Rule is, if you get a book that says thoughts or
something.
goals or dreams or Book of Ideas, you should probably write something in
At least something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember seeing a picture of you on Facebook or whatever. You're like, you look like you're the happiest you've ever been, and you're on like a camel
on the
or a donkey.
Yeah.
It is. It's like the perfect photo of like pure bliss, just happiness.
The funny thing about that photo,
you guys are very depressed.
No, we had gone up. We had rented these pack donkeys, and I was racing up this trail, and on one side of it, it was like a death drop. So we were all like, and this guy was behind us spanking our donkeys, and they were so nervous they were shitting on top of all of each other. So the donkeys in the front were crapping on the donkeys in the middle. The donkeys in the middle crapping on the donkeys in the back.
Donkey centipede.
And so we were laughing so hard, but also frightened. So that look, though it looks like pure joy, it was pure joy, but it was also like, oh my God, I'm alive, and my legs are covered in donkey shit. So there was a few mixed bag of emotions that were going on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just totally wild.
Yeah. Totally wild.
Do you ever just get random shit on Instagram that's like people trying to message you, and they're just all bots?
Yeah, it's usually just bots.
So lonely.
Yeah.
And it's just bots. But it happens to me all the time on the podcast Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's because I post a lot, like of stories and stuff, if that matters, because I don't know. But it's just like all of a sudden it's just like you've been added to this group, and it's like, take me home.
Yeah,
you're like, no.
I was just in a group that was called Take Me Home. I just got added into one. Literally.
We should see if we land in the same group.
Yeah, maybe it's the same
bots.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure it's a really super hot girl that's texting us that's on the other end, not some like, Romanian 50-year-old man. Yeah, no, it's probably a bot. You're right.
It's probably just a bot. Yeah. It could be though. How wild would that be if it one person's like they never talk back?
Yeah. Do people still get catfish? I don't think people get catfished anymore, right?
I think they do all the time. Yeah.
But I mean, how long would you put up with that bullshit? I mean, how long until with FaceTime and the modern day technology? I mean, how long?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, like you're whack. Like if you're like, oh, I'm in a 6-month relationship with somebody, it's like you can tell, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and they keep coming up with excuses. Like,
yeah. You wanna FaceTime tonight? Well, not tonight. Like I just had a donut.
Yeah, totally.
That's like the excuses they give too.
Yeah,
and all the catfish shows on like MTV. Like I can't talk right now. I'm taking a poop.
Some
They say.
Some football player got catfished
Recently?
it was a little while ago. Some professional football player got catfished for like 7 months, and I was like, dude. And it ended up being a dude. It was a dude.
Just fucking with him.
Yeah, I mean, in love with him. I don't know.
Oh,
Fucking
really?
with him. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know what it was. I mean, I don't understand that, but
Yeah, like especially as like that level of like athlete, you would think you would.
Have
you
you
know,
ever
go anywhere?
Have you ever pretended to be somebody that you weren't at some place?
No.
Ever.
Never. Not one time.
Not one
but
time ever.
But I did think about this. It's so crazy that you mentioned this. The a couple months ago, I was at the gym. Probably like the last time I was at the gym.
Yeah.
I saw 2 guys there that I worked with at Cinetopia a long time ago, like back in 2012. And they were just eye fucking me. Like they were just looking at me. Like I think they
watching you work out, had a boner, and just, like, checking you out.
Just full in.
Yeah.
But they were like, I think they were either trying to figure out if I was who their mind was like telling me or telling them that I was, or if they instantly knew. And for whatever reason, you know, they're in a place, they don't know anybody else. And so they just keep looking over at me. And I remember thinking, if they ask me who I am, I'm going to make up a fake name and be like, no, that's not, I don't know who you're talking about. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
But no, I've never once been like, oh, hey, Adam Smith, nice to meet you. Or
Never.
like, I'm Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
You know, I've never done that.
Yeah.
You have, I assume.
Yeah. I definitely have.
Yeah. Who's like famous people?
Well, I've never pretended to be a celebrity because I don't look like a celebrity. Yeah, I know.
You could probably pull off Steve Jobs. You're not as tall as him, though.
Steve Jobs? He's fucking 30 years older than I am. He's dead.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, what are you talking about?
You guys got like the same hair.
I mean, usually if you're
same
pretending
hair,
to be somebody, they should probably be somebody who's alive, right? I mean,
well, I don't mean now.
I mean, before when I was 26, I should have pretended I was Steve Jobs.
No, how old are you now? You're like, what, 35?
Yeah.
When did he die? Like 3 years ago?
Jeez, my cousin's telling me I look like Steve Jobs.
I'm not.
This is a true story.
You could pull it off.
I recently, not so recently.
Who was the person?
Lucy, my housekeeper.
Okay.
So a year ago, I had to let her go because I was moving.
Oh, yeah.
And she'd worked for me for years, 3 years. This girl's 26, Czech Republic. Didn't speak great English, but, you know, loved her. Yeah, in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
She'd worked for me for years. And
yeah, because you don't like to clean.
I don't like to clean. And at one point, she was like a living nanny. She's come 5 days a week. She'd cook lunch and make coffee because I used to work at the house, too.
Yeah.
So I'd have clients over. And so anyways.
Dude, she knew
probably
me well. Like, fuck yes. All the people were like, you'll never make it in Amsterdam. You can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't leave. What are you going to do? And in like a week, she's a live-in
nanny
nanny for a 30-year-old.
For an adult loser. An adult loser. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. If anyone could bury me, it would be that girl. It's like,
yeah.
That girl knows my secrets. Anyways, so it was the end of this, you know, it was the end of the era, right? So I was moving out and
she's like taking it with you.
I had asked her. I was like, Lucy, I was like, how old do you think I am? And keep in mind, you know, I've been like banging a bunch of younger girls the whole time that I'm there, like, you know, whatever.
Sure.
So like, and so I was
like, whatever. I don't mean to
I was like, how old do you think I am? And so, how old do you think she says?
Well, okay. This was what, this year?
This is a year ago.
Yeah. I would have guessed anywhere between 33 and 38.
He's looking at me like he's trying to do me a favor here.
No, but that's what I would have
I could
guessed.
just be the celebrity impersonation of Steve Jobs. Anyways,
I would have guessed.
Tells me 52. I said 52. I said, are you kidding me? She's like, she's like, well, how old are you? And I was like, fucking 34. At the time, I was like 34. I was like, God, 52. Did
you ask her why? It's probably because of your hair. You think?
Well, God, I mean, do I look like I'm 52 years old with a bald head? I'm
No,
bald.
I'm just
I mean, I
saying.
got a bit of a cul-de-sac. I've had wild years, and time has not been kind to me. But 52.
Well, you don't have like wrinkles or anything.
No.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like the hair would be the only thing that would like age you.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Did you say why?
Well, I was trying to run through it in my head, and I was
then
like,
she was like, "Fuck."
yeah,
fucked all
well,
of
yeah,
this.
for sure. I was like,
"Fuck
yeah.
this friendship."
Yeah, totally. Well, she was amazing, but she had done a couple blunders that were terrible.
Like what?
I had bought
She
a
just called you
bunch
52.
of
bro.
yeah. I mean, nothing worse than the 52, but I had bought.
Okay.
She'd done some financial blunders. I had bought and paid for some very expensive suits. I had a tailor in Amsterdam, and I had just gotten these 2 suits back from Italy. I mean, you know, they were expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
2,000 euros a piece. You know, expensive.
It's like $3,000 basically. I mean, it's maybe not quite that much. But.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, probably it was $4,000 worth of Euro suits, so probably $5,000 worth of suits.
Yeah.
So I came home and I had left them on the floor. Normally she has a separate pile for dry cleaning. She put those things in the washer and the dryer, and they looked like
Do they shrink?
clothes for Paddington Bear. They were completely ruined. Dude. I was just dying to just run around and find some midget. He could have been dressed in the little person. Could have been dressed in the fucking nicest, smoking jacket from Taormina, Italy. Sicily.
That reminds me of the first time we were in Vegas with your blue and yellow suit.
That's true. I couldn't lose. I was winning like a madman.
Except for the night you did.
I finally lost it all. But for 2 days, I was handing people money. Everyone's coming up to me, and I was like, "Oh, here's $500. Here's $300. Here's I was on a streak."
I remember.
All good things must end, I suppose.
The first time we were in Vegas too, like this is Vegas when you're a kid, kind of sucks.
It doesn't kind of. It totally sucks. It completely sucked for you.
It was like
they were like trying to, because you're old enough that you want to hang out at the tables and have a beer or whatever, but then you're stuck in Aladdin's palace and to do the. I mean, it's the worst.
We stayed at the Flamingo, which had a cool pool, but it was like, how long are you going to swim?
It's a dirt ball.
You can't be 12 in Vegas and like you're on a resort, but like. You're not gonna be left alone.
How old? You were 18 when we were there, I think.
I was 8. I think I was 18 or closer to that age for Matt's wedding. But when we went the first time, I was younger. I was like 13, 14.
We went twice to Vegas?
We went, yeah. Were you there you were there for Matt's wedding?
Yeah, I was. You're right. We did go twice to Vegas. Then we went for some other trip with you and yeah.
So we were there, and I remember basically, once it started to get late. And also, it's like when you're like 13 in Vegas, you don't walk the strip.
No, for sure not. Absolutely.
You're going to get like fucking kidnapped or killed or some shit.
Yeah. It's filled with hookers. And
yeah.
A friend told me. I don't know.
Anyways. Yeah. It's just like so you'd stay in the hotel room. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were in the hotel room and this is the first day we got there. All of a sudden you hear this guy's like, we're getting out of the thing, out of the elevator, and the guy's like, "Hey, you get Cricket? You gotta tell Cricket about this pool, man. It's great. Gotta get Cricket." And we're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
And it was like, all these guys had like bug names, like Cricket and Grasshopper and fucking dirt and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is weird. But then at night, one night, Michael, or we were all in the hotel room, like the kids, and all of a sudden you hear like, like glass and silverware banging around outside. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And we opened it up, and you were eating off of
somebody else's room service French dip plate.
Yeah, old room service.
I might have lost the money at the casino. I was coming
exactly
home
what
a little
happened.
drunk. Yeah.
And you told the story about how you had one like $5 chip left, and you put it in like a really big slot machine, and you pulled the lever, and it just lit up and went. And then you like walked in. Super sad, and like the curtain was open, and our room had a pretty good view, and you were like, I just wish I could just like you acted like you're running out of it.
Yeah, it was not happening.
Like,
this makes it sound like, by the way, from the story, that I play slots. I do not play slots, for the record. I play blackjack and hold'em. The only person I know plays slots was on that other trip, that bachelor party I went to there when I said somebody went home. And it was a buddy of mine, Greg, the same guy who owns Woodskis, by the way.
Oh, really?
Who owned it and created it.
Full circle.
He came, and he came a day before us, and his wife was already pissed that he was going with us.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I mean, just like, don't go be an idiot in Vegas. We're kind of like the derelict friends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going? Oh, Michael's going?
Yeah, for sure. And sure enough, this guy had been there for a day. I don't even know how this is physically possible. We arrived. He was drunker than a skunk and had somehow, in 24 hours, lost like $3,600 on slots. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Have you been sitting here in a diaper, just shitting your pants, pulling on the fucking crank? I was like,
that's crazy. Because you would literally have to sit there for like 24 hours.
I don't know what you're doing. Putting in dollar slots and going max bet for $5 or something of it. Yeah. Now you lose $3,600 on slots. Wow. I mean, I don't even know that's physically possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Blackjack is the way to go. For sure. I played blackjack a little bit online. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Texas Hold'em like poker whatever.net where it was like all computer. It was with a live dealer. I think it was based out of Puerto Rico because you couldn't do it in like
right.
Yeah, like you couldn't do it in like they couldn't do
it was offshore. It was probably it was probably in one of the offshore jurisdictions, Caymans, Puerto Rico, whatever.
Something like that. And it was really cool. It was actually like a lot of fun to do. But I think I lost like $250. And I was like, I'm not going to rebuy in.
Yeah.
But it was over a long period of time. Like we'd play, we'd lose like 50, and then the next day we'd gain like 300, and then we'd lose 150, and then we'd gain like 100.
Totally.
And we just kept playing. And then I remember and the big thing too was we would stream it on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
So we would play and people would watch.
Yeah.
And they would do really well because people wanted to like
watch you win or lose real money. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember one time we were like, fuck it. Like, we're just going to go all in because we've been playing for like 10 hours at this point. And it was like, we're just going to do it. And we got a blackjack on, and it was like, oh my God. And I remember then we went and we started to do the roulette. And same kind of thing. Like you win, you lose, you win, especially with roulette because of how you can play above, whatever, below, red or black. Like you're going to win 50% of the time in terms of odds, really. I guess it's probably slightly less with like the green or 00 or whatever they're playing with. But I remember we were at the same thing. We were like $250 and we're like, okay, let's just go all in. And I remember me and my friend looked at each other and like, you want to bet it on 0? And he was like, no, like what are the chances of that? And then we bet it on something else and it landed on 0. And we're like, fuck. Because the amount that they paid out would have been like 36 grand.
It's insane. Your other cousin, Mark, had a huge payday once at Vegas. On roulette. Yeah.
You know what? I think I remember that. It was like 10 grand or something.
Yeah, something like that. I had a story where I, so this was a gambling story. I had gone to Royal Ascot, which is like kind of the Kentucky Derby for Europe. It's a massive event. London, blue blood, proper event, right? So I had gone there and I had a friend of mine who... His father was a famous horse trainer, Nick Zito. He'd won the Kentucky Derby a bunch of times. My buddy's name was Alex, and we went with another one of his friends, a guy named Ramiro. The point of the story is they knew how to bet because they both were in the industry a lot, right?
I'm surprised I guess if they're no longer in the industry, but a lot of times I think like professional athletes, when they retire, they can't bet and shit.
I don't know. They could bet no problem. Yeah, I mean, he was the son of the guy, and Ramiro ran an auction house. But anyway, so I went there. I brought these 2 Swedish girls as dates.
I might be wrong about that, but I thought there was like really strict rules.
Yeah, I don't know. Not these things are like there's the little pits in the middle where it's just these little kiosks where they have all these different Ladbrokes and all the brokers, basically all the bookies, right? So they have 6 races a day, okay?
Yeah.
So I start the thing, and it's a big drunk fest, right? You're out there drinking champagne. The girls are in the hats.
Yeah.
The guys are all dressed up in coats and tails and, tuxedo shit. And so we're out there, and I'm listening to their advice, so I'm winning. I started with, like, not much. Like, I played like 200 pounds or something. So on race number 4 or 5, I don't know, I've made like 1,000 pounds. And I've got these 2 Swedish girls with me. And so we're like, normally there's safer bets you can do, Mitchell. You can do like a there and back again, where it's like if the horse you picked is in the first 3, you get a little bit more than whatever you bet.
Yeah.
There's just safer ways to do it. But I go all in on this horse, and it was a horse called Highland. I remember it. And the guys had told me the horse was 13 to 1. It was like the odds were low, maybe, or is it 1 to 13? I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
he wasn't gonna win.
He wasn't gonna win. It was a 13 to 1 payout on this thing. But the guys had told me this horse is actually amazing. It could win. So I went down there as drunk as a skunk, and I put the 900 pounds on the horse, right? So, boom, the horses take off. I'm sitting there with the girls right on the railings, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, oh, my God, my horse is going to win. It's going.
Yes.
So it's going through. This other horse is gaining on it right as it goes through in the end, and it launches through the thing that cuts through the finish line, and bam, there it is up on the screen. Highland wins. I just think I won, I don't know, 13 grand or something, you know what I mean? 13,000 pounds, so like 18,000 US at the time. So I am screaming. I'm throwing the girls up into the air. I'm going friggin' nuts, right? And sure enough, they come back and they say, well, wait a minute. We're coming back. And the other horse that had tied it was the Queen's horse. They recalled the race, went through to do a review, and then gave it to the Queen's horse. And I lost all the money. I was furious, devastated. I thought I won $13,000. That was the closest I ever came to like a
good
real serious, like win.
Yeah.
I used to play in a poker game in London, a private poker game where the buy-in was $2,000 or a couple grand. And so I've seen more money go across the table in a night, but that was the most I had bet. And
dude, that would stress me out.
What, playing with a couple grand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though, the hands.
How mad do people get when people play just dumb?
I don't know. It was a bunch of fairly well-to-do guys, so I think it was for them. It was maybe like it wasn't for me,
Yeah.
For a couple grand for me was not like throwing out $200 or something, and it was 2,000 British pounds.
It just stressed me out.
Yeah, totally. So
plus poker takes forever, depending on how many people would play with.
Yeah, they would start at 7 p.m. and they would go until the morning. And it was an amazing setup, though. The guy had it right in this house, right in the middle of Mayfair. He had 2 professional Russian dealers, 2 beautiful women that were serving cocktails. I mean, he had put a den together, a proper den together.
Like a thing.
Yeah, he made it a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's nuts because I played a lot of times, like when we play poker here, like around Christmas or whenever you guys are here, the perfect time to gamble.
Yes. I'm so thankful for.
We only play with like $20 and sometimes you can buy back in.
Yeah.
So like at most you're losing like $20-$40.
Yeah.
But it's just a crazy thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah. Well, Michael goes to the bathroom. I'll keep you guys company. Talking about poker, we would play with like small stuff, and it would be okay, and you would kind of just you'd play for a little bit, but you could tell that because it was such a small amount of money, people would like the family members and stuff. Once it got to like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., people really checked out, and a lot of times we'd usually start around playing like 9, and people would be done. Like some people would be out in the first 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then it would be the same. It's usually around the same 4 people. A lot of times I'm not even there because I'll have like a good hand, like 3 jacks or whatever, and someone will come in with some fucking thing, and I'd have gone all in on it and be fucked. But we always have fun playing poker together.
Totally.
Yeah, but I could imagine like how mad people get because I like in Vegas, I'm sure people just get fucking furious when people play like
people who lose
blackjack.
A lot of money, you get upset for sure.
Yeah, but like even blackjack's like not hitting on certain numbers that you should. Like,
there are games that you need to play like the odds. So if you sit down at a table and you're playing like a jackass and you don't know what you're doing, you screw the rest of the table.
Right, in terms of probability. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like not hitting on like a 13, shit like that.
You shouldn't hit on a 13 if they're showing if the dealer's showing like a 14. You want the dealer to bust.
Sure.
Or whatever you do, you need to make sure that you do it consistently.
Yeah.
Because just people who come in and are like, because it's Vegas, right? People come to the table, they're wasted out of their mind. They sit down, they're like, hit me, 18, give me a hit. It's like.
Yeah. Well, that was the one thing too about that we did was when we were playing blackjack online was on that, like we'd have the 2 monitor setup, and on the other monitor we would have like a guideline, like okay, if they're showing this is like the typical rule of how to play. Mm-hmm. Which I assume Vegas would be like, no, fuck you, but you're online, so
Totally.
yeah,
Nobody cares.
yeah. I mean,
Well, people
they-
probably care, but they can't.
dude,
really
they play with like 18 decks.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're counting shit.
Yeah.
They switch the deck out. Well before they go through it.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, different dealer every time. I remember there was one streamer who got close with one of the dealers, and I think the dealer actually ended up losing his job because they felt like maybe he was helping like cheat, but
Really?
yeah, but it was like he wasn't doing anything, and they never found anything, but it was like just
They didn't like it.
They didn't like it. Yeah. It's like, that would suck.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't fucking doing anything.
Totally.
Not
my fault.
Some fucking rich kid from playing video games is like got you fired. Yeah, but
sucks.
he did like he set up like some GoFundMe page, and they raised a bunch of money for him.
Really? That's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
The modern world.
I always talk about this with my friends, and it's funny because I was just hanging out with my friends Ray, Eno, Colin, and John. But Ray, Eno, and Colin, those were the guys that I played a lot of Halo with.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we decided to hang out today because this is like the 12-year anniversary of Halo 3, and that's like the game that for us really started like online game, like real online game. We played Halo 2, but Halo 3 was like the one we put the most amount of hours into at the time. And you guys played video games all the time too. And do you think if you knew, because the other day you were like, you know what we should do? Like, it'd be really cool was if we started our own like video game company and we make video games.
Yeah.
Do you think if you knew where video games were now compared, then, like when you were younger, it would have changed what you would have done?
You mean like if I would have sunk time into the gaming industry, or if
for example, let's say right now you have all the same knowledge. You fall asleep, you wake up, but it's you and you're 20, and you know what the world is going to turn into. Going forward.
Well,
you
sure.
know where esports goes.
Anytime I think when you have like
that much
an idea
hindsight.
of that much hindsight of the future, right? I mean, of course. I mean, I would invest in Twitch and a bunch of things that came.
Yeah.
But I will say to the other side of the point, like I was never so good at video. I love to play games. Games for me I've always worked hard, play hard.
Right.
I enjoy. It's a good way to keep in touch with cousins, buddies, or whatever.
That is the fun part about like playing Heroes and stuff.
Totally,
it's like
the camaraderie of it. You hit up on the chat.
That's
or whatever.
why sometimes it's hard to play because people take it too serious for me. Because I played games professionally.
Yeah, totally.
And so I've had that side of it of being serious. And like when I play this game, I'm like, dude, I'm silver 5, bronze 1 for a reason. I'm not good.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
I'm not good at this game, and I just want to play and hang out.
Yeah.
And then some people get mad. I'm like,
yeah.
And it's different people every day. It's not always the same person, but it is like the same 3.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I think. Yeah.
I don't think though that you ever get like I think most of your stuff is like reactionary, like when other people are kind of getting mad at you.
Yeah.
Or like getting mad at the game, and then you're just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I get why people take it seriously because I've taken games seriously, and especially if it's a game that you really enjoy and you want. Like,
it's fun and you want to win. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes it's like, well, sometimes you just get a draft that's better than you. Like when we play with Colin, like we know we're gonna play against people who are better than us.
Yeah, of course. They're way out of our league.
they're like all plat and gold players.
Yeah.
And we're 4 of us are bronze.
Yeah, for real. Totally true.
But we always have fun with that. Now you guys are playing Northgard.
Yeah.
What got you into that? Because that's like a small game.
Yeah, we just wanted to switch up. It doesn't mean that that's going to be what's forever.
Yeah.
And I think the new Warcraft is coming out in January. Yeah, it's going to kill the heroes. So that's what we've kind of been prepping for a little bit.
Because it's a new like RTS.
Uh-huh.
What was they calling it? Warcraft 4?
I think so, or something like that, or Warcraft something. Yeah, look it up, dude.
Dude, what?
How do you not know about this?
I don't know.
It's going to fucking change your life.
For real. Release date rumors on August 30th, 2019. By showing it's been 15. I don't know. Maybe they're calling it something else besides Warcraft 4. Maybe I'll type in Blizzard new Blizzard RTS.
Yeah.
Maybe they're coming out. I don't know.
No, here, put in the new one. I literally watched the trailer of it. Saying new Blizzard E3 or something, or Gamescom.
I'm sure it has. It's. BlizzCon probably.
No,
Let's see.
It's there.
I don't know. I'll have to. We'll message here. What we can do is we'll message Tony. Tony will know the name.
Tony will know the name of it.
But yeah, I was never good because I played Warcraft and I played StarCraft.
Yeah.
And I played those. Like there was a Lord of the Rings one that I was really into. It's called Battle for Middle Earth. Really fun game. But I was never really good, and I always, it's so crazy how I always think that like I'm a super fan of something. Because in my friend group, I am that person. But then you get on like Reddit or whatever, and there's people who are just fucking ankle fucking deep.
Totally.
In the lore of everything, and they just all just Halo, and they know every character's name, whether it's a grunt. Like these are the people that could name the stormtroopers like ID thing. Like they just know everything there is to know about Star Wars or whatever. And I just I always thought that I was that thing, and then I go and talk to somebody who knows stuff, and I'm like, holy fuck, like you guys are like it's insane. So I played with a friend who was really good at StarCraft 2, and he's like, it's all about actions per minute. How many times can you just do shit? And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I was always playing it like as a leisure thing. Like this is fun. Oh, what? How do I want to upgrade this troop?
Yeah, totally. But
were you like that, or are you full into like RTS stuff?
I was pretty into it. I was kind of like I mean, I played it competitively.
Did you?
Not professionally.
Yeah, right.
But competitively. StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 2 and we were pretty good. I was like probably a solid gold player. I think I was usually gold. I was gold and plat in StarCraft and then in Warcraft. And I've been the worst actually at Heroes.
Yeah. That's the game.
And I am the worst at it. I mean, even in the...
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Do you think you care less about it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. You're just there.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's something fun to do.
I always think, too, this is the problem with all games that have roles. Where it's not like Call of Duty, where like everyone can run the same loadout and be, because that's what happens with like Call of Duty or Halo. Like everyone's fighting for the BR, or everyone has a BR, and that's just the best. It's the best gun to use, and everyone has it. Or the same thing with Call of Duty. Like there's some different layout, like loadouts and stuff. But with games like Overwatch or games like Heroes of the Storm or League, Dota, those games that have really strict rules, there's always somebody on the game that gets put in a role that they do not want to play. And I feel like a lot of times it's you. Like you're always playing like a tank, and you're like, "Can I play Chromie?"
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Warcraft
it's 3 Reforged. Okay, so it's like a remaster.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's take a look. When is it coming out? Initial release date. Let's see what he's saying here.
What do the pictures look like?
I mean, all their cinematic stuff looks fucking awesome.
But the actual game.
Right there. That looks good. I mean, to be honest, Blizzard always has like good shit. Yeah. When does it come out? Let's see if I go to pre-purchase now. So basically, RTS real-time strategy games are when, for people who don't know, because I know there's a lot of people who listen who don't play games at all. You have like a home base, and then you have like builders, and then you pick different styles of like a barracks, an archery range, siege, cavalry troops, and then you build up your army, and then you go and fight the other team's army. But it's the reason why I say it's actions per minute is because you're trying to outpace the other person,
yes,
so that you can get more gold or get more resources faster, so that you can build your troops quicker, you can attack faster or whatever. And that's why I wasn't good, was because people were like, they reach their hotkeys.
It's done to a hotkey to a millisecond timing. Absolutely, that's the way that it is.
This says you must purchase Warcraft 3 Reforged Edition in order to obtain the third war card. Back for us and here's a new. Yep. Okay. You have to do it before December 31st, 2019 to get all that stuff. But it doesn't have like a release date on this shit.
Maybe I'll pre-buy it.
I think it's not. It's really actually not that much.
What is it?
It's like $40.
That's nothing.
Yeah, Spoils of War is 40, and the standard edition is 30. So it's not that bad. Let's see if I can find the release date. But that's how I didn't start I think now I take certain games I can take more seriously, and depending on who I'm playing with too, I can take them a little bit more seriously, or I just don't care. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
It totally kind of depends on the game, or like, the fucking what is it? Like Heroes. Like I want to play to but like I'm in terms of the main people we play with. Like if you take Colin out of the equation, I play to the level of the people we play with.
Totally.
So like that's fine. But like I'm not gonna try and be the best.
You're better than I am. You're one of the better out of not Tony Collins ranking, but other than that, I think you're better in the top category.
The hardest part for me is I still don't necessarily understand like the game's mechanic. Like I understand the game and why, but like when is it the best time to go like be in lane or off lane or like do all this shit? Like
just listen to them tell me what to do basically.
Yeah, that's why the game, I think that game specifically intrigues me more than League of Legends or Dota, is because it's still complex, but it is then still simple.
There's many dimensions to it for sure.
Yeah, but it's still simple enough to like I'm just gonna play whatever.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna play the game. I think I win more ranked games by myself though, which is the upsetting part.
Yeah.
Won. There was 1 month where we won like every fucking game.
I know.
I think I went on like a 16 game win streak.
Yeah, I know. I was a part.
We were
of that.
killing it.
Yeah.
And I think that might have fucked us.
And now it's changed, and now I went on a 30 game lose streak. It's horrible. It's horrible now.
Just banking the negative points
terrible
for stuff. Yeah.
It's all falling apart.
Oh, man. It's all falling apart. Well, what do you like about Northgard? We can end it here in just a little bit. Yeah. I know that chair is not very comfortable to sit in.
I'm
just in my throne.
I like it's fun. It's slower. It's more easy paced. I've figured out the mechanics of it pretty quickly. Are
you guys playing like Tony?
We're playing versus AI. We haven't played again. Yeah, we're gonna get spanked, I'm sure, as soon as we switch over to people who play for real.
It's a cool game because Northgard is based off of Norse mythology.
Yes,
and it has a bunch like when you go to start, you choose like a clan basically, like wolf, bear, and you get different things for
each
them.
having benefits.
I think there's a lot more now because when I played it was still like very early access, so there's 4.
8.
Yeah, there's like so they've added a bunch, and the cool part about it is like you can go to like factions in the game, like AI in the game, and trade with them.
Yeah,
and like that's usually that kind of stuff is single player, but they have it on the multiplayer stuff. Like, oh, you just have to go be friends with them, and then they'll start to trade, and you can get shit.
Totally,
and it's really fun. But and that game's like Civ. I remember I called you one time, and you were like, "You're a mid game in Civ or something."
Yeah, I play Civ a bit,
which is like that's like the adult Monopoly.
Totally.
You're going to be in a game for
like Risk. It's
8 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 8 hours to do it.
Yeah, I was just about to nuke someone.
Uh-huh.
You have to go from like Stone Ages. You don't even know what a circle is yet.
Yeah,
and then you
totally.
Go to like nuking people.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
What draws you to like games like that?
For me, a game to relax or to lounge or to keep up. Or I mean, it's always fun or whatever, but it's an easy one player if I want to kill time by myself. Yeah. I do Civ. Yeah,
I think the other part about it for me is that it's really complex. So there's a lot of replayability. It's not like you play one time and you've done everything.
Totally.
It's not like you played the campaign of like The Last
Gears
of Us
of War
or Gears of War.
And,
you just know what it is.
Yeah, totally.
It's totally different. Yeah. Well, what you just heard back from a job. What's next for Michael Sayre?
So, I've been an entrepreneur for many years. I'm going to take a back seat for a little bit. And I'm looking at a new job, so that's exciting. I'm looking at a move from Puerto Rico to Seattle area.
Back home, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, not like home, but in your home base
I've been
area.
traveling for years, and I've been gone for years, and I just want to be more around family. I realize the importance of that as I've gotten older. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just kind of excited. I'm finally kind of planning and putting down some roots here, and, yeah, man, life is good. It's been a wild ride, but, I love it.
Yeah. Well, because you went to Southern Oregon for a little bit. And then
for about 10 seconds.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of life. Uh-huh. Yeah, like that. But when were you like, I just can't, like, I want to do my own thing? Because you like self-taught how to like build websites and like code and do some of that kind of stuff, like UI.
Kid, I dropped out of college at 19 with the, American dream of, hey, let me, keep in mind too, this was 2003. It was during the .com era where everyone was coming out the tail end of it at least, and so I think I was naive. I dropped out of school at 19 years old to work for a startup. Thought I was gonna be cars, mansions, girls, and ended up back on my parents' couch. But I got hooked to the idea of building things and creating stuff, and so I had a wild ride through my 20s. I failed a lot of companies and ran them into the ground, and found some success in my later 20s, early 30s, and created a company that we ended up selling. And then
what company was that?
Eris. Yeah. We were a software development studio, so we started it in Eastern Europe. I started with a Bosnian guy and a Serbian guy.
Yeah, I met them.
Nemanja and Milan.
Yeah.
And then and we ended up expanding it out to then South Africa. So we had a digital office down there. And we sold it to a Swiss firm maybe about 3 years ago. And so then I left the development industry and then went into more the financial side of stuff and digital banking, and have been working in that space now for the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I think also like moving to Amsterdam like really changed the trajectory of my life, because I met different people and I did stuff for you. Like we were trying to do social capital at the time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's so crazy to like really think about, because when you talk about like athletes, they other than on like social media, they seem very hard to like get a hold of. Yeah. But they're fucking so easy to get a hold of.
It's wild. Insane. We used to call them at all hours of the night. You remember they'd be brushing their teeth and shit. And
we were talking to like a Ducks player. I can't remember who it was. Like D'Anthony Thomas or someone. Yeah. And we called him and he's like, "Hold on, brush my teeth." All right.
I mean, we had funny stuff. Working with athletes was a funny job.
The crazy part that I learned from doing Social Capital, and Social Capital was a company that Michael had started with Elise, I think.
She was
doing some stuff, and it was basically trying to monetize digital brands. So helping people make money from Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
Yeah, the idea behind it was like, there is 10% of the athletes are repped by Rosenhaus Sports and all these big monsters and have a marketing budget and the rest of them. But there's, 90% of athletes are, making millions of dollars and can be well known. Yeah. But, they make the money for 4 to 6 years. They don't build out a brand or a presence, and then poof, they're, broke at the end of it. I mean, 6 years if they're fucking lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so the idea was to build these brands out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's insane how many times we talk to people and we would get close, and then they like back out right at the last second for whatever their reason was.
The biggest problem that we had with that was, so we would work with the agents. Yeah. And the agents would want to pay for 1 month, but then it was just, imagine trying to collect money out of agents on a monthly basis. Could you think of a worse? It's like trying to connect money out of a Yeah.
Well, it was so tough, but you would go, okay, so for example, for people who don't know, like Shaquille O'Neal makes like $11 million off Twitter every year. And I remember I became really slightly obsessed with like learning about it and learning about like the analytics side of thing, which I think again has like changed, because that's what I really like now is like the analytics side of stuff. And it's crazy how many of these agents who were representing their clients to make more money, like that's their sole fucking purpose, is really to make, because if they're making money, if the athlete's making money, the agent's making money. Totally. But it's so crazy how lazy some of these agents were in terms of the social brand stuff. And this is 2014, and at the time, like Instagram, I don't think was bought by Facebook yet. No. And there's some of those things, but now like getting them to like realize, hey, there's a lot of money that can be made. And then who do we talked to the Michael Sayre. Yeah. Who was like,
I just saw a thing with him, a podcast about him actually just the other day. It's funny. Well, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about him.
He was like the first openly like gay NFL player or whatever. And he was like I think he was like the defensive player of the year before. And we were like, oh, this guy's like perfect because he has a brand. Like he has the base of a brand, and you start to build out and do stuff.
Where's Michael Sam now?
Where's Michael Sam now? That's what I was going to say, is like they didn't jump on it. They backed out at the last second, and he could be, giving speeches or doing something because he's not playing. So he could have built the brand of whatever and been like Tim Tebow.
Yep. Totally.
Because Tim Tebow did it, like he played and he did okay, but then once he wasn't in the league anymore, he made sure that he probably had a PR team, but they gave him the stuff, and then he kept doing shit. And I don't know what Michael Sam is doing, but it can't be that big.
No.
Because I don't think Tim Tebow's that big, but I hear about him all the time.
Yeah.
So it was like a really interesting thing, and that actually was the main, or the first time that I did that kind of thing, like the sales development side of things, and that got me a job with Daniel, and then that moved me to Colorado, and then I had experience in Colorado, and that moved me back here, and like all the things
experience,
an experience. That fucking place.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I always I was talking shit about it the other day.
Yeah, I believe it.
On podcasts, yeah. Not about them specifically. They're great. Like, they're super nice.
Yeah.
And loving people, but the company I didn't believe in.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And they did. And there were times too when you would talk to them and go, hey, like, I've done this side of the thing before. That's why you hired me. Mm-hmm. But I haven't done this side, in which is what you wanted me to get to. I need some training. And they were selling training fucking packages, and they didn't know how to train anyone. Uh-huh. Like, they themselves weren't good, like, managers. Trainers, Daniel could sell. Prosper was good at finance stuff, and he was a CFO, so he was good at that, but they weren't good, like, managers. At helping you get to where they wanted you to be. And there was one time where Prosper literally was like, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah. It's just the worst. Yeah.
What are you doing, Prosper?
Yeah.
Like, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid, but like, help me out a little.
Yeah, otherwise I'm just going to be dreaming about putting together a process to close.
Yeah, to close. Like, you're going to start calling people.
It's just going to be a dream.
Yeah.
And money for this company is going to be a dream.
Yeah, and I just remember, like, and because it was a startup, I think this is just probably the culture of a startup. It just turned into, like, I was only as good as the last client that they got to sell to. And I brought, like, 5 Fortune 500 companies to them. And they closed them.
Yeah.
For however long or whatever, but it was like, I don't know. And they totally swindled me. Remember, you helped me put together like a package for what I wanted before I moved, and they told me yes. They changed it last second. I moved anyway, and it just turned into this whole debacle.
This is a debacle.
Just all shit. Yeah, it was crazy.
The fifth. I can't get involved.
But the cool part about it, though, I think, was it really did. You looking for something? It did. I did learn from it. Like, it's upsetting it went that way, and it fucked me for a while, like debt wise and shit like that.
The way life is, baby.
Yeah. But I'm happy that I went. I didn't have the best experience, but I learned.
It was an experience.
Yeah, I learned.
Totally.
I learned next time that if I pack up stuff and the person comes to me the day before I leave and tell me they're not going to pay me what we decided on before, I'm not fucking going.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I wish.
Life lessons.
I wish I would have just been like, no, like, I guess I'm just moving home. Sorry. Yeah. Like, because I think I would have had some negotiating power. I learned this from Jordan Peterson. Was like assertiveness training, and like not being not necessarily being a pushover, but how to not like give in, because asking for a raise or asking for a specific thing from your boss is stressful. You don't know what's going to happen, what they're going to say, how they're going to treat you or whatever. And a lot of times it's, we can't afford that right now or whatever. And you just have to be less agreeable. Like, you just have to. I learned that a lot from him. And I learned that from being a part of that company, because every time I would ask, they're like, well, next week or something like that. And you're like, okay, fine. Like, next week I can last 7 days before like we talk about it. And then meeting would get canceled. It would get pushed off to the next thing. And I learned, like, I'm just not going to like be pushed around or let that happen. And it at Cinetopia, when I was fighting for a raise, it was a long time. It was from like July to November, but every time it was closed door. Like, I was the one who said, no, like, that's not enough. or I wasn't just like, sure, fine, like, yay, or okay, I'll talk to you in 30 days. It was like a strict plan. And I learned that I took that away from working from them, was like, I'm not going to let somebody promise me something that was never in their intentions.
Yeah.
I guess it's doing well though. I don't know.
Apparently they got another round of financing.
Yeah. It's cool. It's so weird to think about too, like another round of funding. It's been like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how that's how it works.
Yeah, it's how it works.
You don't really think about it that way.
No. I do now. Just
well, now, but like, like even, I mean, 5 years, you would think that they would be, they'd be putting some money in, making some money, or maybe they are.
I think they're using it to scale.
Yeah, to scale. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. We should check it out later.
Nah. Nah. Yeah, but it was cool, man. Well, we can end it there.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it was
very fun to be on the show.
Yeah. I'm glad you had a good time.
Hope to get invited back.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Anytime you're here. That's why I was like, Michael's here. Maybe Michael will want to do the podcast.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, thanks, guys, for listening. You can follow Michael on Instagram.
I'm private.
Suckers. Never mind. But anyway, thanks so much for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Remember to follow us at Neighbor Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Episodes on Monday and Friday. Thanks, guys. Take care.